On the program, we shall be giving you highlights of happenings across the 6 area councils, from health to environment, and of course, creative abilities of pupils, not leaving out the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory inspecting projects. This, of course, is the territory, and I am Serafina Okon. Good afternoon. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has pledged to provide additional bus terminals in the Buari Area Council and Gwagwalada. The minister discloses when he inspected some ongoing projects in satellite towns, preparatory to the planned inauguration to mark the 2nd anniversary of President Tinubu's administration. Onoze Yakubu's community report gives us insight on the inspection tour of the minister.
The dual carriageway project from Mushafa to War College and Army Checkpoint Road project in the Buari Aerial Council and the Aguma Palace to the FRCN Road within Gwagwalada Township, as well as the A2 to Pai Road in Kwali Area Council, are the priority projects earmarked for inauguration in the satellite towns to mark the 2nd anniversary of President Tinubu's administration. While the projects are almost completed, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike hinted that his administration will also construct additional bus terminals in the Gwagwalada and Buari area councils in order to expand the initiative to the satellite towns to ensure inclusion in service delivery and safety of the residents.
The total road length is not less than 12 kilometers. That has linked up with Ushafa. Yesterday we were at Gwagwalada and Kwali. That tells you that the government of Ahmed Bola Tinubu is also particularly concerned about paying attention to the satellite town. You know that we are also working on Kuje to Gwagwalada dualization. So we're happy.
The minister also inspected the International Conference Center, which is now wearing a new look and ready for inauguration. He says with the level and quality of work, it is a promise made and promise fulfilled, in line with the dreams and aspirations of the president.
The International Conference Center, which is a world-class International Conference Center, and you remember the directive of Mr. President that we should give Nigerians the best as we can, and that is what we're doing, and that's what we have done.
He, however, commended all the contracting firms for justifying the confidence he reposed in them. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Thank you, Onoze, for that report. Now let's move to health matters. The search for a life necessity, water among residents of Gwagwalada Area Council in the Federal Capital Territory, has continued to take them through emotional and psychological trauma, as well as physical stress. The water scarcity from Gwagwalada down to Giri and Ido has continued to bite harder, leaving residents to untold hardship. Aisha Obale visited the area council from where she filed this situation report.
They say water is life and a necessity, but for the people of Gwagwalada, for the past 2 weeks, it has become luxury. Now, this river remains the major source of water for many, the young and the old, and some, even in tears, come here to fetch water for domestic use. To Davidson and his 6-year-old brother, Chisimdi Davidson, would have been somewhere on the street playing, but for the water situation which has deprived them of that right, as they can be counted amongst those feeling the brunt of water scarcity in the environment. Struggling with the jerry can, the two brothers are trying to get some water home, but with pain, bitterness and tears, as they are totally unhappy with the hardship the water scarcity has caused. Who sent you to fetch water? Your mother. Are you happy coming to the river to fetch water? Portable water has become a premium basic amenity for now in Gwagwalada Area Council.
You need to buy a sachet of pure water to test, so that when you test the water, you understand what I will tell you now. The water is no longer testing like, it's like it's like something you fetch from the well. So it's bad. I don't really know what happened. That all of a sudden there's no water in Gwagwalada. Yes, well, at least when we even know why we don't have water, then we can appeal to the government. But now we don't. But I don't think anybody is even telling anybody why we can't have water in Gwagwalada.
The story in Giri can best be described as worst, as the residents now spend more valuable time just to get water.
One jerrycan, we used to buy it from there for those Miruwa in 500 naira. And as you can see for this liver as well, some people do come here nowadays to fetch water to take it to their home. They make using of it, which is not supposed to be in that way because the water is dirty.
Gwagwalada is known to be the host to some tertiary institutions and mostly populated by students due to the university.
Then even to get water in the morning, there's a place they go to in NNPC. They have to go and fetch water from the reservoir. You can see the queue, they fight, they quarrel. So some of them go to school very late. Some of them maybe lectures and all that, they will miss it. So some of them don't even bath to school until they come back and look for water to bath. And you can imagine now, pure water that is sold for 400 is now 800 naira, going to 1,000 naira for a pack.
What is the cause of this water scarcity? Well, NTA crew were at the water board, both at Gwagwalada 1, the lifting point, and Gwagwalada 3, which is the headquarters of water board in the area council. And all effort to speak with officials was fruitless. Our sources who spoke off camera say the management of the water board are sourcing for spare parts before mobilizing to site, while the area council chairman Abuja, who declined comment, says water board was in the best position to speak. While residents are appealing to concerned authorities to intervene, water vendors are using the opportunity to enrich themselves after trekking kilometers to access borehole water. A truck which was sold for 1,500 naira is now 6,000 to 7,000 naira. In the meantime, residents are apprehensive of a possible outbreak of disease due to the water situation in the area council. From Gwagwalada Area Council, Aisha Oba Ali, NTA News.
Wow, let's hope that the situation will be managed and brought under control, and then the authorities do what they're expected to do. And then for the fear of cholera outbreak, this is the season. Let's just take safety measures. Well, still at Gwagwalada, residents of the community have called on relevant authorities so as a matter of urgency to evacuate the refuse indiscriminately dumped at the shoulders of the Abuja-Lokoja Expressway. Mariam George Jetibo stumbled on this ugly development when she took a drive to Gwagwalada Area Council on official assignment.
Despite effort by the FCT administration to make Abuja take its rightful place in Committee of Nations, this is what is obtainable in Gwagwalada, the gateway into the nation's capital.
Caring for the environment is often regarded as a necessity that supports life and healthy well-being. This eyesore negates this fact, in which residents say has been constituting nuisance on this expressway and posing health hazard. Residents were seen trying to maneuver through the dump. Others continued their businesses around it, while others took advantage of the situation to ease themselves, thereby constituting more hazards. Some residents condemned this unwholesome practice that has continued with total abandonment, a responsibility that falls within the purview of the area council.
If you notice, several makeshift tents where people reside, no provision for toilet, people are doing all kinds of businesses and dropping all kinds of refuse by the road. It's such a bad thing. It's such a bad thing. And I think the government needs to up her game and do something about this.
This border that they put for here is not good. Because if rain fall, there's no how the erosion would go. So it must affect the house. And in both the main road will affect the main road.
The chairman, Gwagwalada Motor Park, Atiku Abubakar, says this has been the practice for some time now, calling on the relevant authorities to ensure timely evacuation of the refuse.
This dustbin they are pouring is disturbing us. We have complained severally to environmental, and they only come to evacuate it anytime they feel like coming. We are pleading with the government to assist us.
Gwagwalada residents further lament that the refuse is defacing the environment and in particular the Federal Capital Territory that is supposed to be a state worthy of emulation and a bed of roses when it comes to cleanliness. Mariam George, Jitubo, NTA News.
Thank you, Mariam. Away from environment, well, still on environment. Now let's talk agriculture. Nigeria, a nation heavily reliant on agriculture, faces an alarming crisis. Post-harvest losses, valued at a staggering 3.5 trillion naira annually. These losses not only harm the economy, but threaten food security and public health. The solution, stakeholders say, lies in strengthening the cold chain infrastructure, which can drastically reduce waste and enhance food safety, among other measures. Deborah Gadajimaika reports on this.
Agriculture plays an essential role in Nigeria's economy, employing millions of people and contributing to the nation's gross domestic products. Despite the significant efforts of Nigerian farmers, the country is losing a massive portion of its agricultural produce every year. Recent research study has shown that farmers in Nigeria lose about 50% of their farm produce and around 30% of grains before they reach the market due to inadequate transport and storage facilities. Investigations by Assistant General Manager, Agri Services with Nigeria Agricultural Insurance Corporation, Danladi Mato, revealed that the absence of proper refrigeration and temperature control system cause produce to spoil and that farmers can insure their farm produce.
From day old, that is the case of poultry, to disposal age or to laying point. So we have all those policies. We have diseases. We have a policy that has to do with diseases. We have a policy that has to do with pest attack. We have a policy that has to do with drought. We have a policy that has to do with flood.
Basis. And our post-harvest losses ranges between 45% and 70%, depending on the crop you are dealing with. In the global average, it is about 13%. So if we must tackle food insecurity, we must tackle post-harvest losses.
The problem is especially severe for perishable goods like fruits, vegetables, meat, dairy and seafood. Without cold chain solutions, such products are highly susceptible to spoilage and contamination. Now, this is more than just a financial burden. It is a crisis that affects food security, public health, and economic growth.
In this get age we are now, our farmers need equipment that will help them in farming. We need to empower our farmers with little token that can facilitate their farming process.
The importance of tackling post-harvest losses cannot be overstated. A nation's food security is integral to its overall well-being, and Nigeria's efforts to combat post-harvest losses will significantly improve its chances of achieving self-sufficiency in food production. Stakeholders say policies that encourage investment in cold chain sector need to be enacted. Financial incentives such as subsidies or tax break for companies investing in cold storage facilities could also go a long way in driving growth in the sector.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture are improving in the area of onion. I think we are getting about 1,000 ton facility in Kano.
Silos vary from 25 metric tons to 1,000 metric tons capacity in few states. Recognizing the underutilization of its silos, the federal government in 2017 commenced the process to concession 22 out of its 33 silos across the country. Government say the concession of the silos will ensure availability of affordable grains across the country, all in a bid to address the challenges of storage and guarantee all year-round supply of food to Nigerians.
government is trying to now put them together again and see what they can do about it. And then we are also looking at how government will collaborate with individuals, businesses to put up these facilities.
Others note that government has found it difficult to store grains as the production is not enough for consumption, let alone having surplus to be stored.
The states couldn't tap into that national drive of food security in making sure that these silos work, because when we have these storage facilities being effective, it reduces our waste, so we can have enough. Then even years where we have floods, like when the decline of flood we experienced in 2018, 2022, we can still have food that can go around.
As a nation where agriculture is a key contributor to the economy, Nigeria is seriously facing a huge challenge that undermines its agricultural potentials. Deborah Gazaji Micah, reporting for Dateline 360.
Good evening, glad to have you join us.
Thanks for joining us on Weekly News Wrap.
Thank you very much for having me.
And it is on that note we welcome you to today's edition of the program.
I will celebrate creativity, lasting impressions.
There's no book stating that this is the role for men.
On the news.
On the news at 7.
The
news station NTA Channel 5, Abuja
would say have a lovely day.
Welcome back. This is, of course, the territory for the second half of the bulletin. We're now talking creative arts. A burst of colors, creativity, and youthful expression filled the air as primary school pupils showcased their artistic talents, from beadworks, resin arts to flower-based cycled crafts. The young talents at Kado area of the FCT are part of the growing initiative to nurture young creative and channel their potentials towards building a greater Nigeria. Rabiat Shrive brings us more details on this.
Students as young as 7 transformed ordinary materials like bottle caps, cardboards, and flowers into striking pieces of art. Their arts and crafts weren't just displays of imagination, but bold statements of what is possible when children are empowered to create.
I made this, firstly how I made it, this is a carton, then a stone, then a normal tree, then I use rubber grapes so that it should look like a real tree. This robot is made out, from now you are seeing, is made out of bottle covers.
And this is the painting that I did. I love it so much because I got all of my favorite colors, yellow, pink, blue, and green. This inspired me because I love nature.
This project is coming at a time when stakeholders have consistently called for reforms in the nation's educational curriculum from the foundation stage.
Yes, at this stage, you will realize that their brain is still at the formative stage. If we are able to nurture their creativity, they will definitely excel in the nearest future.
The advocacy is to equip children and youths with more of practical knowledge and skill acquisition than the current form of learning, which many believe is becoming unsustainable and irrelevant to modern-day realities. The emphasis here are for children to get exposed to lifelong skills, as art gives them the ability to think, feel, and build.
The main goal of the visual and art exhibition is to showcase the work done by our children, to show the whole world the creativity, the innovation, and passion that they have for artwork.
More than an exercise in creativity, the event also highlights abilities towards entrepreneurship while showcasing talent.
In these arts, they can be on their own, they can solve their income, before any other thing. And it doesn't stop you from your other careers. You can add, I've seen a doctor and he's a painter.
The colorful event drew parents, educators, and students across schools in FCT. The message which resonated is that practical knowledge and skills are the key to shaping a more innovative and expressive generation for a better Nigeria. In Abuja, Rabia Shaib, NTA News.
60 years down the line since its existence, with over 67,000 members across the country, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, sets and maintains high professional standards by ensuring that its members are well equipped to meet the demands of the accounting profession. ICAN President Davidson Alaribe reaffirmed this at the inauguration of the ICAN Kubwa and District Society. Ramatu Abdullahi tells us more.
Chartered accountants enjoy global recognition for their skills and expertise, making them valuable assets to many organizations, which in turn affords them the opportunity of rising to the pinnacle of their profession. It's not surprising, therefore, to see some reputable professionals, particularly in the field of audit, finance and management, gracing this occasion. Nigeria's first professor of capital markets, Professor Uche Waleke, said the inauguration of ICAN Kubwa indicates the Institute's deep commitment to strengthening trust and enhancing accountability.
As stewards of financial integrity, advisors to businesses, gatekeepers of transparency, and partners in public policy, we help shape the systems that determine economic outcomes.
Mrs. Ijoma Ugunebo, a professional who is currently a senior manager in the tax career path at the Federal Inland Revenue Service, along with 260 other members, were inaugurated to pilot the affairs of the brand new branch in Kubwa, making it the 93rd district in the country.
I hereby pronounce this young lady as the pioneer chairman of Kubwa.
ICAN Chairman Chief Davidson Alaribe urges them to uphold the Institute's policies and tenets at the local level.
My charge to them is that they should carry the message of ICAN to the nooks and crannies of Kubwa, the message of accountability, transparency, and sustainability.
Mrs. Ijoma Ugunebo promises to bring her expertise to bear in uplifting the newly created district.
We'll expect more visibility for ICAN around here because we're going to go all out. They will expect a family gathering of professionals. We want to bring in friendship, unity, closeness. We want to bring in a district where there is love, not rancor.
She's the driver. She needs to accommodate every opinion, dissect it, and pick the best for Kubwa and District Society.
We pray God Almighty to give her the wisdom, strength, understanding, to be able to pilot the affairs of this district to enviable heights.
ICAN was established in 1965 and currently has more than 65,000 members across the country. Ramatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
With that report by Ramatu, that brings the bulletin to a close. Stay with the Unity Station for more interesting and educative program. This is The Territory, and I am Serafina Okon. Good afternoon.